This week's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/DJ Force X. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hello and welcome. After a little bit of a break, welcome to the DJ Force X podcast, episode 81. As regular listeners to this show would have probably realised, I've been not releasing these recently for at least the past 3-4 months. That was just due to the nature of my move back to the UK. And a few sort of family events and personal events that have happened, namely one of my friends passed away, and my stepdad as well. And it's been a bit of a tough slog, but hopefully coming back to this, I'm trying to get it back to at least monthly, if not every other couple of weeks. But I do have a special guest this week, a return to the show for this particular band, but a different member. I've got Jonny, the vocalist from Nothing More. They recently came over to the UK and they played a sold-out show at the Dingwalls venue in Camden. And I was fortunate enough to get over there and watch them and get to chat to Jonny for a bit, which was great to sort of catch up after chatting to Mark a few years ago back in Florida. And they're talking about their latest album, The Stories We Tell Ourselves, which is out now, available via all formats pretty much, vinyl, CD, digital, etc. And I can't say this enough. It's an absolutely fantastic album. Their previous album to this, the self-titled, was great. This is just it's magnificent, if you will. I'm really enjoying it. I can't give it enough superlatives. I kiss his ass royally in this interview as well. But it is a great album. It's one of the very few albums I can listen to from start to finish and not skip any tracks. And their live performance as well. I mean, catching them at a small venue after seeing them prior to this, and it was one of those nights where you can kind of go, I just saw something special. I just saw the start of something for a band that thoroughly deserve it. I mean, they've worked so hard, they've self-produced, etc. And it was a great show. It's one of those shows where I knew the words to every song they played, and so did the crowd there as well, the sold-out crowd at Dingwalls. And they're coming back in the summer to the UK. They're just about to head out with Papa Roach in the States early next year for an extensive tour through the US. So all my US listeners, do look out for your local listings on that one and do go check them out, because it is worth it. They are a band on the rise, and yeah, they will be huge. There'll be arenas before you know it. But apart from that, just sort of, again, thank you to all the people who've been downloading while I haven't been producing these. It's been nice seeing. I think we exceeded 20,000 downloads in total for the whole lot, which blows my mind that people are listening to these shows. But without further ado, I'm gonna start the interview. I'm probably gonna say some stuff at the end as well, so if you want to stay tuned to that. But in the meantime, this is Jonny from Nothing More. Enjoy. Welcome to the show, Jonny of Nothing More. We're here at Dingwalls in Camden, London, and here for tonight's show. And welcome.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, like I said, kind of prior to this, is your second appearance for Nothing More on my show. Previously, I spoke to your guitarist Mark a couple of years ago when you're on support for Shinedown in America, which is really cool. And your album back then, you're self-titled. Really enjoyed that one. And we're here to talk about your new album, your current tour, the stories we tell ourselves. It's a fantastic album, I got to say, first and foremost, genuinely.
Thank you. That's good to hear.
I love it. It's on repeat constantly. My family are digging it as well. I've got kids, and they always ask for that on in the car. So you've done something right there.
Hey, that's good. A wide demographic there.
Yeah. No, on your previous album, the track Jenny, because it was on the radio quite a lot in the States, and we had the rock radio on.
Yeah.
And my 9-year-old knows all the words to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she's singing away. And,
awesome.
She loves it. So this current tour you're on across Europe, how's that been for you so far? Because you've done quite a few dates.
Yeah, it's been nothing but encouraging.
Yeah.
Just every crowd is twice or three times bigger than it was last time. The energy has gained a lot of momentum. So there's definitely a buzz that we're feeling. But it's also one of the more tiring tours we've ever done. We're sleeping in like little bucket seats in a Sprinter van as we drive all night. So it's a lot of long drives and back problems. Let's just say that this is the back problems, no sleep tour.
Yes. No, I've been in the same shoes. I was in a band for a long time back in the noughties, and we slept in the van quite a lot, and it's done my back no good at all. Yeah, even to this day. So I don't envy that at all. But I mean, coming through this tour, you've sold out a couple of the venues you've been playing. Like you said, you get the momentum. People are coming back to the shows. I know you've been over here a couple of times before. You played some of the big festivals here. Download was the last one you played, I believe. Was it Donington Park?
I think Reading and Leeds was the last
Reading and
one.
Leeds.
Yeah, but we have played Download. Yeah.
So you're not strangers to this area, but is it nice to see, like, coming back through again, all this momentum you're picking up, see it like paying off in another country?
Oh yeah, I mean it's kind of cool because it's that snowball effect that everybody talks about, where it's just really hard to get it going the first few tours, and then you hit this point where you start feeling it, take on a life of its own. Actually, snowball's a bad example. I think a lawnmower, like over in the States, we all have these lawnmowers that you just like can't get started, and you keep pulling on it, and but once it does, it's that feeling of, oh God, okay, it's running on its own now. I don't have to keep pulling on it. And that's what it feels like right now.
That's excellent. That's really good. No, that's a brilliant analogy, in fact, because that is a moment of relief.
Yes.
Cutting the lawn. So with the album, it was co-produced by, it was self-produced by yourselves, or co-produced by you and your manager, I believe, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. So why did you decide to kind of do it yourself rather than bringing someone else in? Was it more of the vision that you guys had, or was it, the circumstance?
Originally it was necessity. When we first started, we didn't have a label, we didn't have a producer, nothing. So I just got interested in the production side of things because we kind of divided and conquered when it came to tasks that the band needed to do. So I kind of took on the studio side. Mark kind of did more the in-between and everything, and Daniel took on the automotive, touring, logistical side. And long story short, you fast forward to this record, we got signed, and we got management and agents and all this other stuff, but we had invested already so much in our own, I guess, understanding or skills in the production world that we actually felt like we'd be taking a step back if we went with another producer. I'm sure there's a lot we could learn. Like, we still do work with other people that will bring into the mix throughout the process just to get another perspective and to learn and grow. But at the end of the day, we've kind of already acquired the skills that we'd be paying somebody else for. So we can put that money into our bank, not into someone else's. And we have that direct creative access to where I don't have to explain what I want to somebody. I can just go find it myself with the tools, Yeah,
no, that makes sense. It's good. It's a good thing. So with this album, you tackle quite a lot of social issues in your lyrics.
Yeah.
Tracks like "Do You Really Want It?" Sort of proclaiming, people want to change the world, but they're not willing to basically paraphrase your lyrics, don't want to change themselves.
Yeah.
So I know you did that in the previous album with some of the stories that you tell, but where do you get your inspiration from? Is it purely personal, or is there other sort of like influences you pull from? Or
God, I mean, it's hard to parse out into one thing or another, because it's really just life in general. So I think I personally have my own interests that play into how I write and contribute to our songwriting and our lyrical process. And Daniel has his interests, and Mark has his, and Ben has his. For me personally, I like debates and politics and philosophy and kind of things in that department. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on in culture when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. And so that kind of makes its way into the lyrics. And, the other part of it is that we all grew up in the church when we were younger. Yeah. So our parents all kind of put us in there. And so we always had this we all had a similar background of being told that we needed to think about that extra layer of reality, if you want to call it that. Yeah. And now I think things very differently as an adult than I did then, but it was always this encouragement to dig deeper. Yeah. And so I think that plays into it now.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely hear that within your sound with like going back to the previous album with some of the tracks on there. Again, it's a great album. Yeah, I enjoyed that one thoroughly. I'm kissing your ass here, but it's it's very rare that I get albums that I can listen to from start to finish and then do it again. I mean, you interlace your tracks with interludes and stuff like that, which again, I love like that when people do that for the album, because it means they've thought about the album rather than like 12 tracks, get them down, get them done, get them recorded.
It's a different experience. Exactly. It's not a series of singles. It's a journey. Yeah. At least those have been the albums that have changed our lives. And when I look back at the bands that I've listened to so much music in my life. And when people ask what I'm influenced by, sometimes I just draw a blank because my brain goes into a freeze because there's so many influences we have. But the ones that always stick out are the ones. It's not so much the artist, it's the album. Yeah. Like I've noticed that there was a band called Dredge. This album called El Cielo, and it was like the coolest concept album. It always took me to this weird place that no other album took me to. And it was specifically because of like what you're saying, where it had transition tracks and it had little mini explorations within the overarching, journey that made the journey enjoyable and interesting. They didn't have some guy going, oh, cut that and cut this. And that's a waste of time. Each thing had a creative fingerprint. Yeah.
And the samples you pull for some of your interludes, where do they come from? Because they sound quite deep in some cases.
Yeah. So the music side of the interludes are things that either something that I've created just on the road, just killing time, like coming up with like little mini ideas, or Mark has created on guitar. And a lot of times it's ideas that were either in a song or an earlier version of one of the songs and then got written out by another stronger part that fit the song better, but we still liked the part that got written out. It just wasn't as strong for that song. And so we didn't want to just throw it away, and we're like, okay, what can we do creatively with it? And that's kind of where we take a lot of those musical pieces. The other side, which is Alan Watts, is the philosopher that you hear on all of our tracks. I came across him on YouTube years ago, and he's one of many philosophers and thinkers that I listen to, and he has just such a wide range of recorded material and he's not that well known, and that I felt like, you know what, he's the most influential philosopher in my personal life. Why don't we kind of flagship him and make him aware, or make the public aware of him?
Yeah, because you used him on the last album as well.
Yeah.
And do you get permission to do that, or is that literally just like taking those clips and layering them on?
Originally, we did. I don't know if we did this time. I think we got. I think the label got some kind of
No, I'm just curious how that would work with that. Because obviously spoken word stuff is different.
Yeah, some of it's public domain and some of it's not. It's kind of tricky. It was hard to, because I'm splicing and taking little excerpts sometimes from other lectures, so it's a little tricky, We'll just say that we did talk to Alan Watts' son, though.
Okay.
And he had a foundation or this project he was doing, and so we just kind of helped him out, made a little donation, and we advertised. And I think I think all is good and well.
Yeah, excellent. No, that's always good. That's always good. So yeah, we're going to come to a couple of final questions.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up here. So I've got basically 3 albums that have shaped you as a person. What ones would they be?
Yeah, I would say the one I was talking about earlier, El Cielo by the band Dredge.
Yep.
That just opened me up creatively to so many possibilities as a artist myself. I would also say, Anima by Tool.
Yeah. Another good one.
That was a changer for me. That really opened my eyes. And then, God, if I had to pick a third, what to pick? This is a strange one, but it's called "Rockin' the Suburbs" by Ben Folds.
Okay. Yeah.
A little, not what I typically listen to, but that record is just it's its own personality. I don't even know. It's just its own thing.
Cool. Well, one last thing, just out of curiosity, because I've interviewed Ty from Everybody Panic.
Yeah.
Years back.
Yeah.
He mentioned your jiu-jitsu, like rock jiu-jitsu clan.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you guys are still doing that, because I haven't seen him in quite a while. But
I think he's doing that. I haven't. I've just kind of been in my own little bubble.
Yeah.
Because we've been on tour, and so I rarely see him. But when I do, I try to get in some educational time to learn from him, because he's a black belt for however many years, very, very intelligent, and he has a lot of knowledge to share.
Yes.
So, but I don't get to see him enough. Unfortunately.
No, he came through. They came through St. Pete. It was about a year and a half ago now, I think it was, before I moved back here. And it was just a really good interview. Like, really enjoyed it. And he mentioned that you guys had a jiu-jitsu thing going on, and it was like that's really cool that these guys, the bands from different areas, just kind of have that thing to do, and it's kind of a random, random
extracurricular outside of the music interests. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's it. All right. I'm going to let you go onto the next one. I think is probably one.
Yes.
But thank you very much. Enjoy tonight. Sold out show in London, which is always good.
Oh, it's sold out. I didn't even know.
So I couldn't get any extra tickets. So
that sounds good.
I'll be there with my partner, waiting to see.
All right.
How it goes down, and have a good one.
Hey, you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So there we have it. That was Jonny from Nothing More. Thank you again to the band and their agents in their management, I should say, for letting me be a part of this, because they're a band I've been tracking since I first heard them about 4 years ago, and I can now safely say that they are on their way. They'll be up those sort of like festival and arenas, as I said, and they're great. But I wanted to end this show just with a bit of a tribute to 2 people that meant a lot to me. One was Catbird, Stephen Robinson. Some of you may know him, but Catbird was the man. He had a show on Total Rock. He was a fellow Total Rock DJ, and unfortunately he passed away a couple of months ago. And I just wanted, again, I did a little tribute to him on the we did a tribute show, and I just want to say again on my own stuff, that just say thank you to him. And if anyone else remembers Catbird, he was very, very vocal in the sort of underground band scene. He was a fan of my previous musical outlets in Zero Cypher. He had us on his show multiple times. He came to some of our most significant shows that we had as well. He was also the DJ at my wedding when I got married 11 years ago. And just wanted to kind of say thank you to him again. And rest in peace, mate. Another one was a man called Chris Meacham. You will not know him unless you know me, obviously. But he was kind of my stepdad. In as much as him and my mum were together for a lot of my life, for a good 30 years of my life almost. He's been in my life. I keep saying life. But unfortunately he passed away not long ago. He was diagnosed with leukemia, and passed away within 3 months of being diagnosed terminal of that horrible disease. And we were with him along the way until we got to the hospice. Phyllis Tuckwell Hospice. Thought I'd give them a shout out, because they were absolutely magnificent as well. But Chris was there for me and my family a lot of times in my life, and I just wanted to share one time that kind of impacted the more professional side of my life. I mean, he used to pick me up from when I DJ clubs and stuff at like 2-3 in the morning. But there was one time that really stuck out for me, which was me and my band were on tour, our first sort of big tour, supporting a big band. We were supporting 1 Minute Silence, if anyone remembers them. They were just about to release their third album, and they were going on this like week-long tour across the UK, and we were fortunate enough to be selected as a support band. But unfortunately, 3 dates in, 1 Minute Silence imploded and split up, which was a shock to everybody. But we got stranded in London, a rehearsal space. We didn't have any kind of like contingency backup plan. We were sharing a tour bus with them, so we didn't have a way home. So I called up, said, is there anything anyone could do? And he basically dropped everything. He hired a van. And he came and got us. He came all the way into London. We threw everything into the back of the van. We had our entire kit with us, and we all piled in the back of that van and headed home, disappointed, and all that kind of stuff, because we paid money for that tour, and that money got wasted essentially. And it was one of those moments that we don't often talk about as a band, purely because it was just so frustrating. But the moment we got from that is something that we remember now, in Chris picking us up and rescuing us essentially from London. Otherwise we would have been stuck there and until someone could come and get us, but he did. And no, I just wanted to share those bits with you guys, because podcasting could be a personal thing, and most of the time I've kept a lot of my personal life from it, unless I'm chatting to some bands and kind of relate to them on some level of personal experience and stuff, which is always nice. And but I just wanted to, with my show coming back, kind of give you where my head's at, kind of thing, and help myself by talking about it. And maybe someone else hearing this will talk about theirs, and we can open up, and it helps. Everything helps. But yeah, no, that was all I kind of had to share on that front. And hopefully I'll be back soon with another interview, another podcast, another radio show. But do tune in to Total Rock on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock UK time, to hear my Crossing the Stream show, which is still going. I've been doing that. That crosses rock, metal and electronic music, for those who haven't heard it. You could also check out djforcex.com and check out everything on demand as well, from the podcast to the radio show. It's all there. But yeah, you can hear I'm coming down with a cold as well, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to wrap this up, I think. But yeah, if you could check that out. It's also, for my people in the States, it goes out 11 o'clock on Saturday nights on the mix.fm. That's mixx.fm. Crossing the Streams goes out on there. You can get that on the TuneIn app, and a few other sort of free radio apps as well. But do check it out, because I'm doing some good stuff on there, and get more people to hear it. If that's something that interests you, do it. But until then, this has been me, Barnaby Wattingham, DJ Force X. So until the next pod, this is me out.